I am an old retired guy who loves movies.
Is this a dating profile?
this is a single seeking singles.
Match.com.
Farmers only.
I've seen tens of thousands of movies.
So trust me. Wait.
This is the one he picked, number one?
This is it. He goes on to say, surprisingly, this movie and probably this soundtrack are my number one pick of all time.
Wow.
Sean Penn's best role, funny and cool, most quoted, best pool scene. Just perfect. Thanks, old retired guy.
Oh, my God.
Well, hello there, and welcome to a brand new episode of the Confused Breakfast Podcast. Do you remember the pure joy of a trip to the video rental store as a kid?
No, I do.
The excitement of walking down the aisles, browsing the names and the artwork, and finally picking out the movie you were going to take home with you.
Yes.
Sure, it's hard to beat the ease of the modern era and streaming platforms where you don't even have to leave your couch, but there was something truly special about making that trip, picking a movie out by hand, and stopping at an all-American burger on the way home. Yeah. On this podcast, we revisit and dissect some of our favorite childhood movies from that magical era to see if they still move us the way they did as kids. I'm your host, Mike Schulte, and joining me as always, two dudes who look nothing alike. Sean Pryor and AJ Vance, how the heck are you?
I'm great, because I don't look anything like Sean Pryor.
I'm great because I look like AJ. I don't know. Is that what you're setting me up for?
I'm setting you up. The reason I say that these guys look nothing alike is because we have two very special guests in studio who look exactly alike. Twin brothers, James and Anthony from Raiders of the Lost podcast. How you fellas doing?
We're doing great. How you guys doing?
Doing fantastic.
Great.
Thanks for the invite.
How does it feel to be the first and only guest ever on our
I
podcast?
feel very special, and honored, honestly.
You should. Okay.
Well, thank you for letting us use your awesome space.
No, thank you for flying to
this is
Iowa
amazing.
to be in our studio.
We flew to Iowa and we transported our entire set. It took a while, but it's worth it.
Yeah.
Dedication, man.
$100,000 later, but you know.
It's whatever. Tell everybody. I mean, personally, I believe that you probably should have heard of Raiders of the Lost podcast by now.
Thanks.
If you haven't listened to it, you should. But give our audience a little bit of a heads up on kind of what it's all about.
So we're Raiders of the Lost podcast, also a film and TV podcast. You can find us on every single platform and on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. We just talk about movies and TV, and something we started in June 2020 during COVID, and now it's just become our living. And we've been very grateful for support from people around the world, and it's just a great way to make a living, and we're very honored to be on the show and just to have a fan base in general. So it's so exciting.
Yeah,
It's
we
awesome.
love celebrating film, talking about it in depth, everything from classic films to modern contemporary movies. We like to talk about it all, and it's a great job, and we love connecting with people who love cinema.
What's really cool about these guys, is they do the same job we do. They dive deep. They talk about classic films, but you also talk about a lot of modern stuff and TV series and stuff. So you're a little more all-encompassing than we are. So if you're like sick of us talking about 80s movies and you're like, I just wish somebody would talk about this film I just saw, more than likely you guys have talked about it. So
Vice versa.
Yeah.
Because I'll see you guys posting clips about movies like our brothers would watch in the 80s and early 90s, and like, oh, that's great that they do content like that because no one else does.
Your brothers listen to us, but not you.
They would like your show a lot. They would.
They're patrons. But yeah, we try to stay relevant as well as doing films that we've grown up loving. But we do like recent movies, like we just did Barbarian, and so we'll do like movies that come out like that recently.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You guys recently just did, who's your favorite, like Batman and Bruce Wayne?
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's what I'm there for. I'm so into that too.
Yeah, that was a fun episode.
Appreciate it. Yeah.
Yeah, well, let's dive into this, boys. On this episode, we discuss one of the quintessential teen dramedy movies of all time, a movie that features 3 Oscar-winning actors and an Oscar-winning director, just not for this particular film, a movie that Universal Studios paid money to make and then hoped it would flop and disappear forever. We're, of course, talking about 1982's Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Yeah, dude.
So, in order to properly dissect and review this movie with a modern eye, we must first discuss it with pure nostalgia. AJ, let's start with you. Tell us the first time you saw this movie and what your nostalgic rating is.
It took a long time for me to like finally watch this movie. I did not see it for a long time, But everybody always talked about Spicoli. Dude, Spicoli. And then there's a lot of checkered vans walking around. And I'm like, okay, I don't know anything about what you're talking about. But so I finally ended up seeing it. And then I recognized Judge Reinhold. I was like, oh, he was in Beverly Hills Cop. And
He was in the Santa Claus.
Yeah. The Santa Claus.
weenie whistle.
Oh, he's not wearing his sweaters. But yeah, so then I guess when I finally ended up seeing it, I thought it was very funny. But I also thought it was like kind of out there. Like there was some weird stuff that happens in this movie, you know? So I would say like kind of initially, I'm just like, oh, my rating is probably just like a nice, easy 6.1.
First time you saw it, 6.1. Sean, what about you, man?
Yeah, I had to be maybe high school, I guess. And I grew up loving The Breakfast Club a lot. And when I got older, from seeing The Breakfast Club at like 8 years old or something, I was like, I'm older now. I like The Breakfast Club, but they never have sex. And so Fast Times is
teen sex, man.
Fast Times is the one where they have sex all the time.
Oh,
I'm like, okay, I'll check this one out. So I did, and I liked it, and it's fun. And Sean Penn's great in it. Spicoli, the 420 culture, that's cool. Fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah, dude.
I'll have to give it. I'm gonna straight up 6.
I am the oldest one in this room. I've never seen this movie before.
Oh my god!
I have never seen. I don't know why this happens a lot.
Really?
Yeah, I had until now I had never seen this movie.
Wow.
And I was born in 1982, so I think there's an issue here where I obviously couldn't see this movie until I was 14, 15, 16 years old. But by that point, it is like the late 90s, and I'm watching American Pie, and I'm watching like that's now my coming of age teen dramedy movie. So I just never. I thought it was like a Porky's. You know, like I'm like, why would I watch Fast Times? It's just like stoners and fucking who cares? So NA for me, I had never seen this movie.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah,
then.
can you believe it?
Fair enough.
When did you watch it recently? Like last week?
Last week. So I am literally a fresh take on this movie when
wow.
we get to it. Yeah.
So no nostalgia rating.
No, none for me.
A mature rating, an adulthood rating. I watched this a lot. We watched it a lot when we were like teenagers in high school, and I found it very relatable. And unfortunately, I related like a lot to Mark being terrified of girls.
I know we all did.
Fair enough.
But I felt like I was also a blend of Spicoli being a pothead, so I felt like I was them together. And so I actually related to this a lot, although it kind of informed me incorrectly about how to approach like relationships and stuff. Obviously, Matt Damone like being a terrible guy.
This is great.
But I think that this movie's really special, and there's only one other movie that I think even compares to it in the same ballpark as Dazed and Confused. They're like their own kind of animals in film.
Yeah.
There's nothing like those two. I think Dazed is better. I just enjoy that more. But I think this is really great, and as a nostalgia rating, I give it like an 8.5.
Damn.
Yeah, I remember really liking it in high school.
Yeah.
I liked it a lot. And yeah, we saw it a few times when we were younger, but then I remember we watched this movie in high school, like when you're a senior, and it's like the teachers are like, whatever, it's your last week. What do you guys want to do? Let's watch.
You watched it in class?
Watch Fast Times at Ridgemont High in class and
Whoa.
Dazed and Confused in the same week.
What teacher?
It was 2008, man. It was,
Yeah, but we went to Catholic school.
Yeah, it was
So did I.
it was the Wild West, baby. It was the Wild West.
Catholic school is as wild as they say.
But for me, nostalgia sense, I give it a 7 because I still relate to it so much from my youth, watching it when I was young, and then watching with our brothers for sure, but also watching it in high school. And it makes you feel like you're still in high school, and it brings back all those memories of being awkward and trying to approach people and trying to approach a girl you like and not being able to talk to them. So relatable as hell and still memorable and nostalgic for me at a 7.
Hell yeah. Well, we have an executive producer, Bud Larson, on this episode. He also has never seen this. He said, just by looking at the movie poster, I see Spicoli sitting back in a high school seat desk. It looks like he plays a stoner who just tries to get through the school week with as little hassle from faculty so he and his buds can get high on the weekend. I see Judge Reinhold, one of the detectives from Beverly Hills Cop. Are we going to do that movie? With a pirate hat on. I guess he plays Captain Hook character at a theater or play. No idea what the other three people are. If it's anything like any other high school movie, it's going to be about drugs, sex, and hanging out with friends. So we'll see what he thought about it as well when we get to the end. So something that our friends here in 1982 didn't have to worry about is internet security. Ever since I had my identity stolen 5 years ago, I've been so scared of doing the wrong thing online, having it happen again, Everything I do is online. All of the most important information that I have is stored on my computer. Knowing how important internet privacy is, I still never know what to do and who to trust. I was always covering my laptop camera with tape, double checking the ratings of websites I was on, but that was it. Essentially just crossing my fingers. Luckily, NordVPN is a new sponsor of the podcast and has the tools that all of us need. In case you're a dummy like me, VPN stands for Virtual Private Network. NordVPN provides a service that protects your internet connection and privacy online. It creates an encrypted tunnel for your data and protects your online identity by hiding your IP address and masking your virtual location. While we were in LA, I was connected to public connection for like 72 straight hours. Hotels, airports, just public Wi-Fi restaurants. I didn't feel creeped out like I normally do. I felt completely protected in every single way. I had no fear of a third-party person spying on me or taking my info while I was using random websites and all the who knows what apps I've downloaded on my phone. This is for everyone because ultimately we all use the internet and we don't think twice about how easily criminals can access our most important data. You have to give NordVPN a try. I'm so glad I did, and you will be too. Go to nordvpn.com/breakfast to receive a huge discount on a 2-year plan and 4 free months. It's completely risk-free with Nord's 30-day money-back guarantee. Give it a shot. It's easy to set up. I know you'll be hooked like me once you try it and feel the NordVPN warm, comfortable blanket just all around you saying it's going to be okay. Go to nordvpn.com/breakfast for all the perks. Everyone deserves a secure and unrestricted internet. By encrypting your traffic and hiding IP addresses, NordVPN makes that a reality. So we are going to dissect this scene by scene, but before we get into it with a modern eye, we got to talk about the pertinent, important details of the movie. Sean, what do you got, man?
About this, produced by Irving Azoff and Art Linson, written by Cameron Crowe based off of his novel, cinematography by Matthew Linetti, also did Strange Days by Catherine Bigelow, I believe, and The Butterfly Effect. Kind of weird.
Interesting.
Edited by Eric Jenkins, casting by Don Phillips, who also cast Dazed and Confused, directed by Amy Heckerling. Cast: Sean Pryor, Jennifer
Great Sean Pryor.
Using milk, right?
Oscar winner.
So guys, thanks. Sean
You had one job, Sean.
I legit saw Penn and I said Sean Pryor. I have a brother named Chris as well. So
This is
my daughter.
This is Spicoli's dream right now.
You know what? I never realized this. Are you guys named after the Penn brothers?
Yep, Jennifer Jason Leigh.
Chris Penn's your brother? Your brother's name is Chris?
Yes.
That's amazing.
Jennifer Jason Leigh, Judge Reinhold, Robert Romanus, Brian Backer, Phoebe Cates, Ray Walston, Scott Thompson, Kelly Maroney, Eric Stoltz, James Russo, Anthony Edwards, Forrest Whitaker, and Nick Cage. Everybody. The film was based on Cameron Crowe's book, which was somewhat inspired by real life. Crowe went to Claremont High School in San Diego undercover to gather stories for his novel, What a Creep.
Can you imagine someone doing that right
That's
now?
going to be illegal.
Isn't that
There's no way.
Isn't that the basis for Never Been
Never been
Kissed?
kissed? Yeah.
And I remember not another teen movie. It's like the old ladies, like cool. She's like 80.
Rad, dudes. Light me a spliff, homie.
Never been kissed has not aged well.
No, dude.
And not at all.
Did he pretend like he was a high school student?
Yes. Like undercover.
And he was like 27, 28?
Oh my God.
Imagine I see a high school kid right now and I'm like, you look like a baby. There's no way that someone 10 years older could pretend like they were you.
It's crazy.
I think this movie did a good job with casting because oftentimes in movies the actors look way too old. Because now as an adult you look at high schoolers, they look like kids.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
But some of the actors in this movie, they look like they look like high schoolers.
Yes.
I feel like Jennifer Jason Leigh definitely looks like she's in high school.
And I guess there was only maybe 2 teenagers actually on the cast.
Yeah.
The rest were in their 20s.
Yeah, Nick Cage was
Cage.
like not legal enough to even be in the movie, pretty much. David Lynch was offered the directing job before first-timer Amy Heckerling. Lynch turned down the chance, saying it was not really his thing. No shit.
Yeah. Well, we saw Eraserhead. After Eraserhead, we were like, "You're the guy.
You gotta do this high school movie,
You're
man.
the guy."
After a lot of delays on the film, Amy Heckerling was brought on by Crowe himself. After reading a lot of scripts, Crowe's stood out to her the most the most, but she feared that the content would be a target for a lot of studio cuts. Going back to the original book, Crowe and Heckerling rewrote the script together and determined which parts were strongest for a feature. For the role of Spicoli, Sean Penn came into Heckerling's office to read. She recalled that she was very intimidated by his mere presence, and just by looking up at her, he just like took a glance at her, and it really intimidated her. And she's like, "You're Spicoli." Tom Hanks, Matthew Broderick, Ali Sheedy, Jodie Foster, Diane Lane, Ralph Macchio, Christopher Reeve, Melanie Griffith, Tatum O'Neal were all considered for or auditioned for roles in the film.
Wow.
Fred Gwynne was sought after by Heckerling for the role of Mr. Hand, but he thought the movie was filled with too much nasty stuff.
True.
The film shot for 35 days in LA, La Crescenta, and Santa Monica, California, on a budget of $5 million. Upon release, the studio thought that the movie was going to flop and only released it in a limited amount of theaters on August 13th, 1982. But the people coming out in droves, they expanded. But with people coming out in droves, they expanded it to a lot of more.
So
theaters.
they were like, "This is gonna suck." Oh,
Yes.
people like it. Okay, well then, yeah, sure.
The movie would eventually earn $50 million at the box office, spawn a short-lived television series, become a cult classic, and be selected in 2005 to be preserved in the National Film Registry by the Library of Congress.
Yeah.
Amazing.
That's a
Ace
lot of
when I
money
got-
for back then. That's
Oh
successful.
Yeah.
82.
Yeah.
Jeez. Wow. Well, before we dive scene by scene, we're going to have AJ do some research for us. You talk about critical ratings, fan reviews. What do you got on this one?
You know it. You love it. You want more of it. The tomato meter.
Oh my god.
I did the wrong one. It's not my same studio setup, okay?
You're uncomfortable.
I feel weird.
All right, fine. I'll let you have that one back.
He's on a wooden chair.
It's a wooden chair.
It's wobbly. It's IKEA.
Pretty sure it's only made for dolls, I think.
He's all right. He's got short legs.
I'm doing fine.
78% on the tomato meter, certified fresh.
So of
at
all
78%.
78% of
That
all
way you
the
know it's good.
Yeah, that's how you know it's good. We'll see if they have the same theory of us on
Right.
IMDb. But 78, that's high. That is just below Wayne's World, just above Cool Runnings of any movie we've done.
Wow.
Okay.
How's that fit in there for critical reviews?
Fair enough. 80% is what the audience has said, agreeing for the most part there. 7.1 on IMDb.
That's tied with Spaceballs, Tommy Boy, and The Mummy.
Come on, man.
Why is the mummy so low?
That's what I was saying.
My God.
7.1. If you're in the sevens, here's what we've discovered. If you're a 7, it's the like absolutely mediocre apparently in the world. That's just what it is. But if you drop to a 6.9, garbage.
Bad movie. Bad movie. I don't trust any movie under 7.
No.
Absolutely not.
It's like my Yelp needs to be 4.2 minimum.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not
500 reviews.
I'm not going to get a burger there. No, 4.1.
I'm not savage.
Well, okay. Well, it is a 4.0 straight up, but they have a lot of reviews, so maybe that compensates. All right. Well, New Times, LA, gave it 100 out of 100. Luke Thompson said, perfectly capturing the zeitgeist of American high school life in the 80s, complete with a Rubik's Cube reference, the funny and occasionally harsh Fast Times, with all due apologies to John Hughes and Mickey Rooney, may be the greatest teen movie ever made, even though Kate's was the only real teen.
Oh.
Yeah. We got to have Rajiv come on back in because we're in LA. I took a little excerpt from what
Roger
he said.
Ebert.
Roger Ebert. Sorry,
okay.
guys.
I was like,
Rajiv.
Yeah,
is what it's
Rajiv.
I don't know that, critic.
He said at one point or another, I am not against vulgarity as a subject. He gave this 1 star, by the way. This is a 1 star from Roger Ebert. Rajiv. I am not against vulgarity as a subject for a movie comedy. Sometimes I treasure it when it's used with inspiration, as in The Producers or National Lampoon's Animal House. But vulgarity is a very tricky thing to handle in a comedy. Tone is everything, and the makers of Fast Times at Ridgement High have an absolute gift for taking potentially funny situations and turning them into general embarrassment. They're tone deaf, is what he said.
Ouch, Raj.
Okay.
Brutal.
Big
Gee,
old
need to smoke a
Stan.
joint for once in his life.
Lighten up.
He needs to roll a joint while he rolls over in his grave. We like to find some. sorry, was that too far?
We like to besmirch the great name.
Like, fuck, man.
I'm not involved.
My fault.
we have to end this.
We just lost him as a listener.
They just
We just
unsubscribed.
lost him as a Patreon member, so his entire estate. This is a 1 out of 10 stars. This is the dumbest 80s movie I have seen so far, said Real Smooth in 2020, September 28th of 2020. Dialogues are head-shaking dumb. Characters are flat. No plot existent. Waste of time. And believe or not, I like 80s teeny flicks.
What, how 80s?
It's the number 80, but then he adds the IES.
Yes.
80.
That's how he thinks you say 80s.
I give his grammar a 1 out of 10.
But I figure there's got to be just people who like love this movie, right? So I found a couple 10 out of 10s to just kind of wrap this up. This is a fun one. This is just Memories by Johnny Boy Grant. And he said, remember when teens didn't have phones or video game controllers glued to their hands?
I do.
I would give anything for life to go back to the way it was in the 80s. And the last one, this is a 10 out of 10. It's a little bit strange. Best movie of all time, said Trim Blair. I am an old, retired guy who loves movies. I've seen,
Is this a dating profile?
this is a single seeking singles.
Match.com.
Farmers only.
I've seen tens of thousands of movies.
So trust me.
Wait.
This is the one he picked, number 1?
This is it. And he goes on to say, surprisingly, this movie and probably this soundtrack are my number 1 pick of all time.
Wow.
Sean Penn's best role, funny and cool, most quoted, best pool scene. Just perfect. Thanks, old retired guy.
Oh my god.
Oh my
Tens
God.
of
That is
thousands
the best
of
review
movies.
ever.
Tens of thousands. Best pool scene.
So I know what I'm talking
How
about. guys.
many pool scenes do you think this guy's seen?
Out of the tens of thousands of movies there are.
So many.
Oh my God.
So there you go.
Is that all you got, man?
Oh my god.
Holy crap.
You guys, before we continue on with this episode, we got to talk about our sponsor, Cedar Ridge Distillery. We've been in LA now for 3 days. 3 full days of hard drinking in LA. And you know us, we're reaching for the whiskey. And we're like, you got Cedar Ridge? And they're like, no, but we got this really cool whiskey. And you know what? Every single one I tried, it just didn't do it for me. Like, I felt like maybe we were a little brainwashed being in Iowa and having our backyard be Swisher, Iowa, where they make Cedar Ridge whiskey. But nope, we get out there, and after having pretty much only drank Cedar Ridge whiskey, all their bourbons, their ryes, their collaborations with Slipknot, their quintessential single malts, all those Cedar Ridge we've been drinking for about 2 years now, we get out there and just nothing compares. All the standards, the Maker's Marks, the Woodfords, and you're gonna love Bullet. Oh, it's like, no, this is my personal preference. And I think you guys now are learning the same thing, that Cedar Ridge is pretty much primed to continue their takeover of America as the greatest distillery. So please check them out. If you can find them at your local store, that is amazing. Go grab some, pick up a bottle. If you cannot, you can go to cedarridgewhiskey.com, order some online, and have them come straight to your house. You got to go check them out on social medias. You got to tell them Confused Breakfast sent you. But remember, they are directly supporting this podcast, so you guys going out and not only buying whiskey, but telling other people about it is a way to directly support them for their assistance here in the podcast and keeping it alive. So remember, Cedar Ridge Whiskey, drink responsibly. Go check them out, cedarridgewhiskey.com. Well, boys, what do you say we start our senior year off right? We're all single, successful guys, and this is going to be the best year of our lives. We have our car, our job, and we just need our freedom along with a trip to the point. All we need are some tasty waves and a cool buzz, and we'll be fine.
Hell yeah.
Here we go. All right, so scene 1, Stacy Hamilton and her friend Linda Barrett work in the Ridgemont Mall at Perry's Pizza Parlor. Mark Ratner works in the mall as assistant to the assistant manager at the movie theater. His friend Mike Damone hangs out at the mall scalping rock concert tickets. Stacy's brother Brad is a low-grade supervisor at All American Burger and is spending his final year in high school basking in the joy of his car and trying to break up with his longtime relationship girlfriend Lisa. Surfer-type Jeff Spicoli gets off to a bad start in Mr. Hand's history class. Stacy loses her virginity to a much older home stereo salesman, Ron Johnson. The first thing I thought about in this movie, and the magic of this movie, was the mall.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
That was Stranger Things season 3, like Starcourt to me.
Yeah.
That for them to recreate what a mall was this was not a recreation because this is what the malls were, but. You guys are all pretty young. I mean, did you ever spend time in malls?
That's where you hang out.
It's obviously mostly capitalist stuff, like buying stuff, but it used to be like a social environment where you went with your friends.
Yeah.
We would one of our parents would drop like 5 of us off at the mall, and we'd be there for 3 hours just like running amok. And, like playing like Relivio, which is like hide and seek, and just
Throwing
like,
pennies from the top floor.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Sometimes spitting on people.
Dude, but
yeah, that's where we spent all of our socialized time, like outside of school in the evenings.
I think this is why people get really nostalgic about the 80s is those type of moments. It's like you could show this to a 10-year-old kid and they'd be like, I don't get it. Like, why are they in the where is this place?
Where's Fortnite?
Where's the video games?
Yeah.
And I think that's what's so cool about nostalgia and like Stranger Things season 3 Starcourt and this is like it drew me in right away. I was like, oh, there's like a warm blanket just falling upon the beginning of this movie.
One of my favorite lines, I think it's Rat. He's
Yeah.
like, all the action's on the other side of the mall.
On the other side of the mall.
But then, like, he's a ticket taker, too. And I'm like, obviously loving movies. I'm like, I would want that job for sure.
Yeah.
So
So
I
are you
get
Rat?
free movies all the time. Oh, yeah. Are we all not Rat?
I think we all at one point in our lives were Rat. We can just go ahead and say it.
There's like a social hierarchy with like jobs you have at the
Yeah.
mall. Like Linda tells her that,
Yes.
like, oh, you work in the best shop in the mall.
I think she says the best pizza place in the mall, which means there was multiple pizza places.
You are way above them.
Well, it's awesome because they probably have this, like, their own bartering system
Yeah.
as well. So, like, you get free pizza and I'll get you free movie tickets. It's a beautiful thing.
You got to understand, Rat. You're the assistant to the assistant manager of the movie theater.
It's great to moan.
Thanks.
It's great to moan.
Thank you. And like that's the thing is he's wearing that jacket and the other thing I recognize a lot about this is when you worked at a place you had an outfit. You had a real outfit, man. The girls at the pizza place, the jacket and bow tie for the movie theater.
Rat, yep.
And then of course later on we'll see like all the stuff that Judge Reinhold goes through. Oh my god. It's just oh man.
He gets put to the ringer in this movie.
Yeah. I'm a single, successful guy and I need my freedom.
Is there a world where you view Judge Reinhold in your head as not only a young kid but a heartthrob? Like
No.
I just don't buy it. I feel he's perpetually 30 plus years old.
Yeah.
In my brain,
Yeah.
and it just they're playing him off as like a heart, like oh hey Brad, and he's like.
He kind of starts off that way.
Well,
he's
in
got
high school,
clout.
In high school, kids aren't jacked, even if they're jocks.
Yeah.
They're not like Jason Statham.
Anthony's
Yeah.
a jack guy, you know.
Yeah, I know he is.
I don't know. I mean, he said it.
But being
You
cool is like
accepted
a
it.
thing in college, in
Yeah.
high school. If you're cool, it doesn't really matter what you look like.
Right.
in a lot of
True,
ways, you know what
that's
I mean?
true.
You can still be a heartthrob, like the coolest kid in the school, and be the ugliest motherfucker there.
Yeah.
But he's like he's
the
cool.
funnest
Yeah.
to be around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got his car. He's been going with this girl for like 2 years, and he's got the job, even though he's like a fry cook, right? Which you don't think of like as a sexy thing, but in high school you have a job.
Yeah.
At least where we're from, it's like, hey, you're making money.
Yeah.
Like that's awesome. Like you and he's got this clout. It's like, Arnold, do you want to come and work at All American Burger? It's like, I'll talk to him on Friday. It's like, he's getting his BUDZ jobs and stuff like that. He's got that car. He's washing up and stuff.
I like him a lot. He seems like he's friends with all of the friend groups.
Yeah.
In the school, like the guy that comes up to him and say, "Oh, hey, man," I love Judge Reinhold.
Yeah.
Pretty much everything he does, but he's got the one speed of talking.
Yes.
You're right.
Oh, hey,
It's true.
man, how you doing?
Hey, man.
A weenie whistle. Awesome.
A weenie whistle.
Charlie, Santa Claus is not real.
He's never like I've never seen him freak out. In a
No.
movie. I mean, I guess in this movie a little bit, but he only like you'd think he'd go past 10. He's always like steady 8.
He has a great redeeming moment at the end of the film.
He
too,
does.
though,
Yeah.
you know?
And I was gonna say, do you guys feel like bad for him like throughout like this movie?
I mean, yes and no. Everyone goes through breakups and stuff like that, but
Yeah.
to be like broken up like while you're at work, that kind of sucks.
But also, he was planning to break up with her. He
Yeah.
is quite arrogant.
Yeah.
Even though he's
Yeah.
very likable, he's very
Yeah.
arrogant. But then I think he has a redemptive arc where when he figures out that Stacy went to get an abortion, he's like shows great brotherly love in that
Yeah.
moment.
Oh,
Then
yeah.
it's like a more humanistic side from both those characters, and
Absolutely.
then that great ending with Spicoli in the convenience store.
You worked
Yeah.
at good American Burger.
Well, let's talk about Spicoli now then.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Hell yeah.
It's amazing how the poster. It's all Sean Penn.
Yes.
Or, I mean Sean Pryor.
Sean Pryor. Yes.
Well, this movie, there's 2 movies in Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Yeah.
You know, there's
Yes.
the normal one where it's good, it's pretty okay. We got pretty decent characters. We have Stacy, Linda, Mark, Damone, and Brad. You know, but without Spicoli, this movie isn't as good as it is. And he has his own entire movie. Like him and Mr. Hand is like the other part of the movie too. And
Yeah.
without Spicoli, this movie does not work.
Their
guys-
arc
yeah.
is so much fun to watch.
Yeah. It's
their
true.
back and
Absolutely.
forth is incredible, and I think that's really cool what you're saying that there's 2 movies going on. I think his acting level is on a different level than everybody else's, and I think that Amy Heckerling knows that, and she's just kind of letting him do whatever he's gonna do. And I think he like every time it cuts to him, it's just like a different level. He seems like he's playing a character rather than anybody else.
He's
kind
immersed.
of playing
Yeah.
themselves,
Yeah.
you know.
2-time Oscar winner. You know, the guy's a
Right.
absolute chameleon in this movie. And if you watch this not knowing who he was, you'd be like, "That's a surfer, bro." But he's actually a very articulate, smart guy in real life and completely different. And he's such a talented guy. Do you guys think that in South Park they got the idea for Mr. Hand from Mr. Garrison from this teacher?
Oh,
I
man.
never thought about that.
It's got to be because Mr. Hand's like more
Yeah.
like he uses it to like criticize the
Shit.
kids. I think that they got that idea from this movie.
Jesus
That
Christ.
might have been.
That-
Jesus
Mr.
Christ.
Hand.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
He was in Rad. We always tried to go back to some of the movie. Have you guys ever seen Rad, the BMX movie?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We did a full episode
Oh
of
my
that.
God.
He was like the rich town guy kind of that got his coffee knocked over from the newspaper boy and
Gotcha.
eventually like donates money to Rat, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds like he was pretty typecast for a long time in his career and that this helped him break out of it a little bit, I guess.
He's great in this movie.
Yeah.
though. Him and Spicoli, their back and forth is phenomenal.
It's
Yeah.
amazing.
He gave me like PTSD from all the teachers I hated. Like
Yeah.
he's so
Dude, I
good.
know.
Oh my God. Yeah.
But Spicoli's a terrible student.
He is.
But
How
is he?
How is it so endearing though? You know, how is it so endearing that he is that normally I feel like you would have a character like this and you'd make him I mean, I'm not saying he's a great like human being, but he's like you'd make him like a dick bag. Like you'd make him a jerk.
The teacher?
No, Spicoli.
Spicoli.
Yeah. Not only would you make him kind of lazy and a bad student, but you'd kind of make it so the audience doesn't like him.
Well, you
But
know,
he's so
yeah.
likable.
I think he represents like what audiences, how we all want to act towards our teachers,
Yeah.
and he just has the
Yeah.
freedom to do whatever he wants in the class, and he's not like a jerk about it. He's just
Yeah.
like living his life.
Yeah.
and I think that he represents like our fantasy of how we would like to talk to a teacher.
Yeah.
It's like we did Point Break when you guys came on our show. He's like Bodie, except a stoner surfer.
Yes.
He's just chilling. But like the looks he gives Mr. Hand, like when he's handing out the pizza, like the look on his face is just like pure sadness.
Yes.
It's great. But he's so innocent. He's just so. They said he's like been high since the 3rd grade.
Yeah.
He's just floating around
He's
through
been
school.
on since the 3rd grade.
He's Sean. You've kind of mentioned something like this before, where he's like he has God mode in this movie.
Yeah.
he can float between whatever he wants, and he can do kind of whatever he wants, like you guys are saying, and there's no repercussions to it, and there's not even major impact on the rest of the cast and everything that's going on. But he just shows up and has these moments with Judge Reinhold that are hilarious.
Yeah, the only thing he does that has any bearing on the plot is when he crashes Jefferson's car and
Yeah.
he
Yes.
uses it as
My old man's a TV repairman. He's got a righteous set of tools. I can fix it.
I love when he first gets the guy. He's like, "How do you know you're in the right spot?" This is history, man. I see the globe right there. I'm like,
I love that. History, U.S. history, bro. Just be glad I have fast reflexes.
Hey, bud, what's your problem?
He goes, doesn't he also in the
bud.
middle of the conversation, he goes, I know that dude.
I know that, dude.
Did you recognize, so his 2 buddies, this took me
Yeah.
the third,
Yeah.
I watched it 3 times in the last week. And on the 3rd watch, I was like, didn't somebody say Anthony Edwards is in this? And then I see him. Anthony Edwards is one of the 2 buddies that gets out of the van.
Oh, no way.
And you don't know that he's got long hair.
Yeah.
But it is Anthony Edwards just in the flesh. You're like, It's same thing with Nick Cage.
Yeah.
Like you don't know you see him until you see him and you're like, oh my God, he's in this movie.
Apparently, also that same scene where they come piling out of the van as well. They were actually smoking weed.
Were they really?
Yeah.
70s, bro. And then Eric Stoltz is
Eric
the other
Stoltz,
guy.
the other
guy on
guy.
the
Yeah.
phone talking to him in the
Yes.
bathroom. That's Eric
Yes.
Stoltz. But I guess
From
with
Pulp
Anthony,
Fiction.
with Anthony, he always has like short curly hair. You recognize him from. So the
Sure.
long hair threw you off. I didn't even recognize him.
Yeah, go back and watch it. Like when they first get out of that van, the not Eric Stoltz guy is like, that's Anthony
I'll
Edwards.
check it out. Yeah.
I'm assuming his first role.
Especially when they come into Judge Reinhold's and they take off their
Oh,
shirts.
no shop. Yeah.
There's a
Tarps
clear
off,
shot
dude.
of them.
No
Yeah.
shirts, no shoes, no dice.
No, dice.
We do a segment on here. I'm just gonna hit the button.
All right, so
We got the wrong page. Anyway, I'll add that later. Oh no. Most punchable face of this movie. I'm gonna bring it up.
Okay.
It's Ron. It's the 26-year-old TV
Oh, yeah.
car stereo man that literally just from the moment he walks into that pizza place, like a Coke and your number, like he just
So gross.
he is the grossest character of this
Can we
movie.
still be friends?
Can we still be friends?
Shut up.
He know, like, if you're a 26-year-old person, you know when there's a 14-year-old or a 19-year-old. Like, you know.
Absolutely.
And this, I know it's the parlance of the times, but, like, that's just... And then he's like, let's go to the point. And apparently the point is just a dugout in a baseball field.
It's just a sex spot.
It's gross,
Yeah.
man. All of it. He's my most punchable face of the movie.
I'm with you.
I think that's fair.
I think he's the most punchable person, but just strictly talking.
Oh, wait.
Just
We're going deeper
Just
here.
assess the face is Mark.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know what it is about his
Absolutely.
face. It's like Rob Riggle and Step Brothers talking
my
about. I
I don't know what it is about your face, but I just want to punch it.
I have that feeling towards Mark, but like Ron's obviously a horrible person.
Yeah.
Deserves to get punched. Mark doesn't. He's an innocent kid, but when I look at
face.
him, like
face.
just talking faces only, not personality or actions or behavior. Mark, I gotta go. Mark.
I gotta get Mark.
I gotta get one in.
I concur.
What about Spicoli though? If you're just talking about faces like that, because you guys live in LA, you know people like this, right?
Yeah,
like
pretty much.
Is that a really stereotypical stoner, or
Not
is that
really.
That's
like,
the whole community of its own.
Not
Okay.
anymore.
Yeah.
Like Lords of Dogtown was probably the end of that era, like
Right.
the early 2000s. But like the stoners, everyone's a stoner nowadays. They're just
Yeah.
vaping their pens.
Yeah.
Dispensaries everywhere, bro.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
we're all stoned right now, and you don't even know it?
But guys like that, they're more
How do you
likely,
like the water?
more likely to live in OC in Orange County, in Laguna, like those
Beach
beach
towns.
areas. Yeah.
Okay.
Not really in LA.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, because I bet there is a group of people out there that would
Yeah.
punch Spicoli
Oh,
just based on like I hate that California surfer bra thing. You know?
I don't know about you guys, and obviously I'm not a woman, as you can see, but like 15. 15. Like I
15.
was still collecting Pokemon cards at
Oh, yeah.
15. I wasn't like sex was like way out of my brain.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you guys think about that? It's
Do you think movies make that a bigger deal than they really were in real life? The losing the virginity thing, the like. Because
Well,
I
yeah.
agree with you. It seems like every era has these movies, like
think
the American
society
Pies,
makes it a big
society. But among my friends, it was just like we didn't really talk about it.
I
And,
felt
like,
very pressured to lose my virginity when
you?
I was in high school.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah, I did too.
I thought
think,
about it a lot.
I think it's because we had older brothers. It was kind of like a competition
Okay.
sort of thing.
And I just felt like I couldn't compete in like the male community if I didn't have sex with a girl and didn't lose my virginity. I felt like I was like less than in the social hierarchy, and kind of like I didn't want anyone to know I was a virgin. I was very embarrassed about it.
when
So
you guys
some-
are from Boston, right?
Yeah.
Do you think
Yeah.
maybe that's more of a coastal big city
I think
thing?
so.
Maybe,
It's a very
maybe.
competitive
Yeah.
area, and
It was a cliquey high school we
Yeah,
went to too.
it was clicky
Was
too,
it?
yeah.
It
But I was
sounds
always like,
Catholic
I
high
didn't
school.
want anyone to talk to me about sex because I had no idea about it and had no
one did.
experience. But I definitely felt pressured to try to lose my virginity. And also, I think movies definitely influenced that. Watching
Yeah.
American Pie and movies like
Oh,
this,
yeah.
being like,
100%.
oh, I'm not going to be able to fit in with anyone if I'm still a virgin. you know?
Hopefully it happens for you someday.
we're rooting for you, man.
Well, Mike's had sex at least once.
At least one time, guys.
Can you give me some tips? Give me some tips?
Yeah, we think. Let's get on Murray and do a DNA test.
you look at my child's face, you're like, holy shit, that's a girl that looks like him.
Came out with a beard.
I'm definitely coming to you for some tips, bro.
I'll let you know, man. All right, so let's move this on to scene 2. So Mark Ratner's in love with...
He's dead.
I'm dead. Keep going. Shut my mic off.
He does that joke every time. Every time.
I'm crying. It lands, dude.
Oh my God. Mark Ratner is in love with Stacy and asks her out on a date. Afterwards, Stacy comes on to him, but he chickens out and leaves. Back at school, Spicoli continues to annoy Mr. Hand. Meanwhile, Brad loses his job at All American Burger. At a pep rally before the football game with Lincoln High, Brad meets up with his girlfriend Lisa. Despite changing his mind about breaking up with her, she breaks up with him. To stick on the sex talk, though, there are memorable moments in my life where I knew that I wanted to do something with this girl, and then the minute that I didn't have to try anymore, and she was like, "Yeah," I was like, "I gotta go.
Whoa,
I've done it too.
Yeah.
I gotta go.
Absolute panic.
I am scared out of my mind."
I watched this movie the other day and I was like, oh my God, I've been in that situation.
Same here, dude.
I just chickened out, like panicked, and I made some lame excuse and just bounced.
Is that why you want to punch Mark? Because you want to punch yourself? For this?
See, he is me.
Very deep.
I hate myself.
Jesus.
But I think because we put a lot of pressure on ourselves, especially being young men, and like you're
Yeah.
afraid of like messing up, you're afraid of being embarrassed and like just ruining it. And I think we put so much pressure on our first time.
Yeah.
It causes a lot of fear and panic. And I've been there where I just like I can't do this.
It's true because like when you're learning about this stuff, right? And then I go back to like when the two girls are talking about sex and stuff. It's like, well, how long does so and so last, or how long was it? Or they
How
talk
much
about
comes
that.
out?
Yeah, how much comes out? Like a quart?
About a quart.
Or you're talking about like, are you what? And then, but these like, it's almost like setting expectations for like somebody who watches this when you're a kid, like American Pie, and you have to kind of sit there and think to yourself, like, oh, sex is supposed to last like 45 minutes to an hour. Is this what we're supposed to be doing?
Yeah.
You know, it's crazy. That's the expectation that these movies kind of set,
Right.
and obviously that's not the true nature of it all. So
Exactly, yeah.
it's insane.
30 seconds.
30 seconds.
It was a good time.
Hopefully you'll find out.
What did you think about Damone's 5 rules?
Yes.
So here they are.
Lay them
Okay.
out.
Number 1, never let on how much you like them. That is true.
That's true.
That still holds true.
That
yeah,
is a
Debbie,
really
hi.
good role.
Especially now with modern dating.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially with modern dating.
He's mastered that.
Yeah.
Are you a single man in the world?
I'm single and mingling.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
mingling.
you're fresh in this world. I want to know if these rules hold true. So number 1 holds true.
Number 1 holds true.
Number 2, always call the shots.
Well, I would say you want to show initiative and definitely show that you like girls like
Confidence.
confidence. And I'm not generalizing, but from my experience, girls enjoy a guy who likes to make the plan, likes to, I'm going to do this for our date and come up with it. Rather than I know girls who have told me that like guys would be like, "What do you feel like doing?" or "Where would you like to go?" It's like it's nice to have a plan going into it and being the guy like handling that. I think they appreciate.
It's like
that.
asking your girl
I
where
don't
you
know.
want to go to eat.
Yeah.
And,
I don't
and
know.
I don't know.
What do you want?
What do you want? What?
What do you want? What do you want? All right, number 3, act like wherever you are, that's the place to
Isn't
be.
this great?
Isn't this great?
I think that's a really cool rule. Like, because I like how he sells it. I'm like, what do you mean wherever you are is the place to be? Isn't this great? I'm like, you're right, dude. Like,
great.
we're having a fun time right now, aren't we?
I think that one's BS.
You think so?
Yeah, I think because if you can enjoy someone's company, it doesn't really matter where you are.
So it's not about the place. It's
Yeah,
about the company.
it's about the vibe, bro. The personal vibe. Yeah.
Yes.
You make the place. Your presence. You make the place.
I mean, you want to do a first date at Burger King, but like,
Well, hey, now you just said
Anyway.
you always and
What
leave
if the
the
plan's
crown
shit?
on.
What if
oh,
the
so
plan
you're
is
saying
shit?
if you went to Burger King, and acted like this was the place to
Yes.
it would work.
Yes, it would
You
work.
go to Burger
they
King.
got a playpen. Look
You
at
leave
that.
the crown. You
Ball
leave
pit.
yes, and you leave the crown on during sex. You make her feel like a king.
Yes.
Royalty. You're in bed with royalty, darling.
Oh my god.
Number 4 is always order for her. Have you ever done that? I think that's pretty old fashioned.
I think that's old fashioned.
Yeah, I think I've done it a couple of times if I've heard their drinks, but like I think
Yeah.
it's definitely a no-go nowadays.
I've only ordered for a significant other if they are my significant
Yeah,
other.
same.
And it's just like, hey, what do you want?
Yeah.
I'll order. So like,
Yeah,
I
same.
think not every time, but if I know
If you're in
her
a
or-
partnership, then
yeah,
it's
that's
totally
it's
it's
different.
normal.
A first or second date, no, I think that's just too much.
Tell me what you'd like and I'll order it for you. Yeah, that's
Or-
kind of a
yeah.
weird move.
I think, and also if you're getting the same drink, that's totally
Okay,
fine to
okay,
do.
sure.
We're gonna get 2 of these.
Hey, make it 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Last one, when making out, always put on Led Zeppelin 4, the first side.
I think this has
Cashmere.
great merit.
But here's what's time out. Cashmere is not on Led Zeppelin 4.
American Graffiti. Or
So the first side of Led Zeppelin 4 is Black Dog, Rock and Roll, Stairway to Heaven, but then they cut immediately to him listening to Cashmere, which is on Physical Graffiti.
Physical Graffiti.
Maybe it's the only song they could afford.
Is it?
That's what
Yeah,
it was.
it could be, yeah.
That's what it was. They couldn't have the rights to the
other one, yeah.
So then,
they got
but
it.
then change the script then, right? Or did they?
I don't
was
think anyone
this-
would have noticed.
I
There was no
noticed.
internet back then. There was no internet back then. People were like, "Hold on, let me pull out the vinyl." And if you didn't have it, how are you gonna? You're gonna have to buy a record to double check.
You at least knew it was Led
Well, you gotta
Zeppelin.
call
And then
the
who-
studio.
and
Like,
then-
I'm complaining today. You can't like leave a comment on Instagram.
Yeah, who are you gonna tell? When you figure it out, who are you gonna tell? Like 3 friends?
I'm phoning up Jimmy Page. This is bullshit.
can't make a
Does
tic-
he know?
I got to go down to Sam Goody. And
It is a great cut though. I like that setup because he's doing all like is it 5 rules?
Yeah, 5 rules.
5 rules.
And rule number 5.
Rule number 5, and then it cuts right then and there.
Yeah.
Dun-dun-dun, dun-dun-dun, and just silence.
It's so awkward.
It's a really
So
cool
funny.
card.
Yeah.
Ladies, feel free at any time to chime in too to tell the 5 dudes that are sitting here
Yes.
if these rules hold up.
So what do you guys prefer? Do you prefer Damone's 5 rules or Dennis's Dennis method in Always Sunny?
Wait, I don't watch a ton of Sunny. What is the?
Oh, I don't think we should get into it.
Okay.
Well, it's foolproof.
Yeah,
Just do that one.
it's unbelievable. You guys check if there's an episode of Sunny to watch. It's that
Always
one.
Sunny.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's
Done deal.
That one.
Love it.
Unbelievable.
I kind of want to go to that restaurant that
Yeah,
they
yeah.
go to, like those big old humongous red chairs that they have.
It makes them look like kids.
It does.
It does.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
she's very overpoweringly tall standing over there, and they're like, we'll have a Coke.
He
you know?
shrinks.
Yeah, he
Mark's,
does.
Mark's down here like this, and it's I think it's very smart the way that they set that up. Obviously, it's
Yeah.
like yes, we want big chairs, a large table, and we want them ordering Cokes, and feeling like kids.
Yeah.
you know?
And thank God Damone was home to answer his phone.
And thank God. Yeah. It's a
What
darn good
happens?
thing.
Yeah, what happens if he's not there?
Dude, that would be terrible.
I like their relationship. Rat and what's her name?
Stacy.
Stacy.
I like their relationship. It's very, very organic. It's like obviously the most true one there is. I guess they have like the most in common rather than just wanting to have sex and get in there. But when they do get to her house and start looking through like the photographs and everything, they do have that connection, and I really like that. But I also like really feel for him too. Like he forgot like his wallet. He forgot didn't have his own car. Maybe he forgot a condom. Maybe he did plan it. Maybe he just forgot a condom or something.
Uh-huh. See, you never know.
Well, I think he was just. You could see the actor did a good job. He looks
Did.
extremely nervous. Like and you can see he's like panicking, and you can see it going in his head. Like, oh my god, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm gonna ruin it. And then he just bails. I think out of fear.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah, they have the most authentic connection for sure. That's a
Yes.
good point.
Yeah,
And I
that's why
think
they wind up
Stacy's
together.
obviously been corrupted by the guy and like thinking like, oh, in order to have a relationship, you have to have sex like right
Right
away,
away.
and,
Yeah.
and that's why Mark's so uncomfortable. But then they just throw out the window and just get to know each other at the end.
Right.
Stacy had a man basically be like, I'm in control, we're having sex. So she now thinks that's all that happens. So
Yeah.
she's like, okay, I'm in control, we're having sex. Like she thinks that that's what needs to happen to Mark, to Rat. And I've been there. Like not only have I left before, like when I gotta go, but then you get outside and you go, that was a stupid move, I should go back. And
Yeah.
he turns around and the light turns off. It's like, oh,
Dang it.
no, man, that hurts so bad.
But it's actually really well written because she thinks she's upset because she thinks he doesn't like her.
Yeah.
Right.
But because she thought it was normal to approach the date that way because she was just so misinformed by. Because also Linda, she's so experienced, she makes sex sound so casual.
Yes.
And so like easy and normal. Then that combined with the date with Ron has skewed her view of dating.
Yeah.
But is Linda experienced?
Or is she all
See,
talk?
I feel like she's all talk.
I'm with
I
you.
don't know if there's a vote going to be involved in this, but if I had to say, she seems like she's all talk, and mostly because of the court talk. But
She's like Mina Suvari in American
Yeah,
Beauty.
exactly.
Like that kind of
I
a
get
character.
that.
Oh, no, it's super easy. Yeah, of course. They last like 45 minutes, 50 minutes all the time. Yeah.
Yeah.
A court. I don't know.
They should have had a scene near the end to reveal that if that was the case. That
Yeah.
would have been a great
Yeah.
little character development for her.
yeah.
Yeah, and she also says she's engaged. And she's like
right.
a
That
senior
was
in
totally
high school.
weird.
She has a fiance
Yeah.
in Chicago or something like that.
Yeah, and they never came back to that ever.
So that feels like the kid that goes away to summer camp. It's like, yeah, I got a girlfriend. she lives in Boston. Yeah,
I think I might have lied
She's
to
from
people
Canada.
about having a girlfriend. I think I might have done that like at camp or something, like 13 years old.
This episode's turning into like a psychological review.
Anthony,
I'm
breaking
gonna
it
start
down.
crying soon.
We're getting
That's
into
really
it.
interesting. Anthony. Can you expand on that?
Would you like to lay down, actually?
Put your head back.
Tell me more.
I would.
Watch
Tell me
this
more.
Watch.
If you haven't seen it on the video, we have all slowly turned our chairs just to face Anthony.
I just feel like I'm in a safe space right now. Thank you guys.
Hell yeah, man.
We have a candle burning for you. Sweater weather.
So how about Brad's scene at the restaurant where he gets let go from the job?
You know, it's such a breakdown for him because this is like his whole life is dependent on making money, and that's like his social status is from having money. Now it's like all gone. So it's tragic. Like you said, he goes through the ring in this entire movie.
Yeah, and we worked in the service industry for a while. I waited tables for 8 years, and so that's something I've always wanted to talk to a guest like that, like asshole
Always.
guests.
Oh,
but
yeah.
you just can't. You can't push that button.
Yeah.
And so and when I watched that scene, I'm like, I wish I could always say that, but then he gets fired immediately, and then I'm like, oh yeah, that's why I never talked to him.
Yeah.
That's why I never did it.
I hope the mentality's changing a little bit about the customer not always being right, because I've been in the service industry a long time too, and like they are never right.
Yeah,
like that guy
oftentimes
was
they're wrong.
completely
Yeah.
wrong. And like, why not stand up for your employee? This one guy's been coming here for 10 years. He's going to come back.
Yeah.
Even if
we
you turn
do-
him away.
we do have some forms to fill out. Like his boss should have been like, yeah, we should get these forms out, and that's the kind of way we have to handle it. Not like, yeah, we'll give his money back right away.
Okay, punchable
You
face,
already
the
ate most of
customer.
it. Yes.
Customer.
I'm changing. I'm sorry, guys. I'm
To
changing.
complain, oh, my breakfast wasn't the best breakfast. Oh,
Get
man,
out.
come on.
Well,
Get
it
outta
says
here.
it says a breakfast 100% guaranteed. It's like, yeah, that's we're guaranteeing that's breakfast.
Yeah,
Yes.
that is breakfast.
that is breakfast. You
And
can have
unfortunately,
What
so
time is
you
it?
ate most of it. So it's like, yeah.
Oh my God.
You always want to deal with the
It's
customer that
12:01,
way.
so technically it's brunch, and you didn't guarantee that. So
Oh, yeah. See?
that's why I'm giving it back.
Did brunch exist in the 80s?
I don't think
yeah,
so.
when did brunch?
Who created brunch?
Definitely LA started that shit.
Avocado
how much-
toast.
Have
How
you
much-
guys had brunch yet
Yeah.
in LA?
Yeah.
I guess
Oh, yeah.
if
Kinda.
a late breakfast counts as brunch, then yeah,
Yeah.
we
You know,
did.
you gotta have like champagne and stuff.
Yeah, I did
Technically,
that.
technically
Then
the
this-
Hobbits probably started it. Second breakfast
Yeah,
is
second
brunch.
breakfast.
What about Levensies?
Taters!
Potatoes. Boil them, mass them, stick them in the stew.
And in case you didn't notice it, I'm talking to our audience, of course. That's probably the best scene you can see Nicolas Cage in. That
Yep.
scene where he's the one back on the line, flipping burgers, basically.
Wow.
And he was credited as Nicholas Coppola.
That's right.
That's his real name.
He's
we
Francis
right.
Ford Coppola's nephew.
Really?
He's Sofia Coppola's cousin.
Holy
First cousin,
shit.
yeah.
What's the reason for the change to Cage?
He didn't want to be like
Gotcha.
nepotism,
Nepotism,
people
yeah.
to know that he was a Coppola.
Wow.
Yeah, he wanted to like earn it himself.
Yeah, he was 17. He lied.
You know where he got Cage? I think it's the
Luke Cage.
Yeah.
He's a huge comics fan.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got like Superman original
Number
number one, I think. Or he used to have it. He had to sell it because he's got an expensive lifestyle.
Yeah, that castle set him back.
He only owned so many castles.
Yeah.
You traded Superman #1 for a Raven. Hell yeah.
You know how much insurance on a helicopter costs?
Bro. Kids aren't making. They're not making National Treasures anymore. They recast them.
Well, make it a Nick Cage one.
We'll see.
I hope
they
so.
say it. It's rumors.
I love those movies.
They're great.
Those are fun.
Those are awesome.
All right, so scene 3, Brad is caught masturbating to Linda while her, Stacy, Damone, and Rad are hanging out in the pool. Later that evening, Spicoli is driving with Charles Jefferson's younger brother, and they wreck Charles's car. They scheme to make it look like rival Lincoln High School trashed the car, and it makes Charles single-handedly win the football game.
I think that's my favorite moment when they
The pool scene.
They make it look like Lincoln High did it.
Yes.
Yeah, I know.
It's very
Spicoli's just,
clever.
Like, straight face Spicoli, like watch him do it.
He's got the beanie on.
He's like, yeah, let's see what happens.
we talked about this with Bert Kreischer, like we were talking about this movie, and he said how cool it is to show that Spicoli's hanging out with the Charles Jefferson's younger brother.
Yeah.
Like he does not care who he hangs out with.
Yeah.
He's just like, oh, that guy likes to smoke weed. Like he's got a car. He'll let me drive it. Let's go.
Yeah, Damone wants the approval and everything of actual Jefferson, but Spicoli's just like, no, I just like this. I like his brother.
I like his brother.
He's a cool dude.
He's fun
He's
to hang
gonna
out with.
kill us. He's gonna shit.
What's he gonna do, man? Kill us or shit
Which
on us?
one?
Then he's gonna kill us.
I could fix it.
I can fix it. Dad's a TV repairman.
Got a righteous set of tools, man.
I love the cut where it's like, can you fix it?
Yeah.
I can fix it.
Yeah, it's covered in cinder block. He's like, yeah, I can do it.
Just be glad I have fast reflexes.
It could have been a lot worse.
Who's
So the
Oh,
most
good, okay.
iconic scene.
Yeah.
Probably of maybe top 10, 80 scenes of all time is this Phoebe Cates.
Is her getting out of the pool?
boobies scene. Yeah. It's great. But did you guys?
Keep going.
He escaped
You're like that
into a-
reviewer, best pool scene of all time.
Dude,
I've seen tens of thousands of movies.
Great pool scene.
I've even been.
Are
in
we
some
sure that
pools.
wasn't like Trump who did that? It's the best pool scene. It's the best pool scene.
pool scene.
Greatest
It's
pool scene.
terrific.
Believe me, I know.
Everybody
Seen a lot of
says-
movies. Tens of
everybody
thousands. Everybody says, but I know.
Phoebe Cates, best rack,
Best rack.
So when she walks in on Judge Reinhold actually bought a dildo to like simulate, and she didn't know about it. So her reaction is genuine of seeing like I don't know what color dildo, but you cannot get away with that anymore.
Wild
No.
West, baby, Wild West.
That's right.
Well, Tarantino, he has the dildo on set. Do you guys know about that?
No.
So he has this rule where if anyone falls asleep on set, he has a giant purple dildo. It's like 2 feet tall, and he takes a photo with the person. He puts it on the person. They take a Polaroid photo and they hang it up on the set wall.
Oh,
so
my
for the rest of the
gosh.
entire production of the movie, they put this wall of the actors or crew who fell asleep with a dildo on them, and it's up for display. It's called the Wall of Shame. He does it
Yes.
for every movie.
It's like
That's
Creed when he
awesome.
steals the Chinese food.
Yeah,
Michael
exactly.
Scott.
Yeah.
Chinese food.
Yes.
You dine so
You
much.
dine so much.
so much.
Do you think the egg rolls are really that big?
Oh my god, I love that episode. Oh man.
This is tough for Brad too, because he just lost his job, just got broken up with his girlfriend, and now the like absolute worst thing that could possibly happen is one of the hottest girls in the world walks in and catches you masturbating to
Yeah.
her.
God.
It's a tragedy. It's
It
actually a
really
tragedy.
is. This is
It's like a
tragic.
Shakespearean tragedy.
Someone
Oh,
should make a
dude.
dark cut of a trailer of just Brad.
Yeah.
Just make it
Just when he
monochrome.
thought life could not get any worse.
She walked in on him masturbating with his 3-inch penis.
We know it's 3 inches. We know
Oh,
that.
Judge Reinhold. I don't know, man.
Don't
He's
judge
tall.
it.
You know what they say
Probably-
about tall
he's probably
guys?
packing heat.
Yeah. Tall, skinny dudes. Yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
He can play hockey without a stick.
Did you also hear too that Phoebe Cates, rightfully so, was kind of nervous about the scene? And apparently, the way the house was set up, there was another house that was 2 stories and could see into the backyard. And she said she kept seeing people up there, like looking out and watching. And she was super nervous about getting out and being like, "Those people are going to see me naked." And the director was like, "If this goes well, about 100 million people
Everyone
are
in
going to see
America.
you naked."
Yeah. Everyone in America.
She's
will
like,
see.
oh, "Okay, I
Didn't
guess
think
you're
about
right."
it like that. I guess this is a movie.
It's a movie.
Oh, weird.
A movie.
It's pretty awesome too how they said that song is such a perfect choice for
so
that
good.
too.
Yeah.
And the sideways water splashing across the screen when she gets out, it was done really well.
It's like a beer commercial today.
I know.
The Hardee's commercial.
And twins.
It would look beautiful, like the mist and the water and the tits. The tits were cool too. The tits were great.
I love how they referenced it in Stranger Things with Robin,
Right.
and she or what's his name, Harrington
Yep.
tells her like she definitely likes girls because that VHS is constantly
Yes.
paused at that spot. So I love the reference in Stranger Things of this movie and
I
that
didn't
moment.
even think about that.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
That's
Yeah.
freaking
Hey, great
awesome.
point, man.
I just rewatched that episode. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's great.
That's how I know. Who do you think? This is my ultimate question. Who do you think is a better, more iconic stoner, Spicoli or Slater from Dazed and Confused?
Spicoli.
Think so?
Spicoli.
Yeah, Spicoli. I mean, he's the reason this movie's great.
Yeah.
Slater's great. He's super
If you
funny.
take him out of this, is this not a good movie?
It's not
I think,
the same.
I think
not
it
the
is.
same?
I think it's okay. I think it's an average teen movie, high school coming of age movie.
Okay.
I also think about who do I want to hang out with, and I would want to hang out with Spicoli.
Ah,
You
you're
know?
right, man.
So, yeah.
I was kind of thinking about this today. I think they have a similar line, them two, where he's like, "I know that dude," and Slater's like, "Hey man, I know you from the gym class, second period."
Yeah.
At the end of the movie, I'm like, "Oh shit, that's a kind of cool parallel."
We went geography together.
Before that, was that when he walked in the class and he's like, "Wait, there's not a birthday party for me in here."
He's got like a bagel in his waistband.
But that's why, like Anthony brought up, the posters are all Spicoli.
Yeah, that's
He's
right.
not even has nothing to do with the plot of the movie.
It's true.
Nothing to do with the plot.
Yeah. Yeah, he is.
Shit.
He's this like free roaming, just kind of
Vagabond.
vagabond. Yeah, like he's a representation of just like the chill. Like he kind of comes in and makes these characters, or like how we're watching the characters, he makes us kind of level out too. Like no matter what's happening, he's just like it's kind of all being okay because he's just chill all the time. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that about him a lot.
Well, let's move on. So scene 4, Stacy grows attracted to Damone. She invites him over and they have sex in the pool house. And Damone leaves immediately. Stacy becomes pregnant and wants an abortion, but Damone distances himself from Rat and tries to fight Damone. Brad is forced to take a new job at Captain Hook Fish and Chips, but quits after he is laughed at for his pirate outfit. Do you think Damone's a bad guy?
Absolutely. One of the cons I have with this movie is how he's seen in a kind of a positive light at the end during the dance.
Oh, yeah.
We see him like having fun. Like I think that his character should have gone through like more of a punishment in terms of the plot, and he really should have been called out for what he did publicly. Like he was humiliated with the girls writing on
Once,
his
and
locker.
then it was kinda done.
But I think like he showed himself to be just like a really terrible person by abandoning Stacy in her most desperate time of need that he helped create.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Plus, he's really fake. He's just full of it, and
Yeah.
he thinks he's so much greater than he really is. But when you really
Yeah.
get to know who Mike Damone is, he's not that great of a
When
guy.
the chips are down.
He talks himself up.
Yeah.
He is. He's just a kind of a terrible person. Like all the stuff all the bad stuff that's happening to Judge Reinhold in this. Like I want it to happen to Timon, dude. Like I want him to like get caught like jerking it or something that and people make fun of him. You know, This is one of those points. He's like following his some of his rules. Like when they get into the pool house, he's like, "Wow, this is great. Oh, this is a really cool
It's
place
just
you
a
got
pool
it."
house.
It's like it's not that cool, but apparently wherever you go, make it really cool.
Yeah.
And it is really hard. It's really hard to watch. Like I don't know. It's like hard to watch this whole entire from this point on for me between him and Stacy.
It's really terrible for Stacy.
It's really, really terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To abandon a girl in that situation is just a horrible thing to do.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah.
Speaking technically wise, in that same scene where they're both naked, Amy Eckerling did shoot that actor like waist down and had his dick out because he wanted to be like, well, she's gonna do it, like I should be vulnerable as well. So I thought that was really cool, but they cut it out for some reason. I think
It was NC-17.
They recropped it.
Yeah, they just kind of cropped his. I don't know how long it was, but how long the scene?
How long the scene or how long the?
He looked for it. Let me tell you.
It's like crop at 3%, 5%.
He scorched the internet.
I didn't see where it began. I saw where it ended. So.
But the rating system is really difficult. It's better nowadays where if it's flaccid, you can show it for like a
Right.
couple of frames, but
Yeah.
you can't show an erect penis still.
Because Ben Affleck, bringing it up again, our guy, you can see it in Gone Girl.
Jimmy,
Yeah.
look how excited he got.
Dude's back and eat.
Looks like a baby's arm holding an apple.
Legit.
Right, guys?
I was like, I knew it.
We'll come back around.
Eyes lit up.
He's back on the Patreon.
If you had a VHS of that, it'd been burned like that for you.
It's my guy.
But now we know why.
We all knew, man. We all knew. He's 6'4", just giant head, of course.
Which head?
Hell yeah, dude. We're having a good time.
I got a question.
The best Batman.
I got a question for you boys. Being twins, do you hate when a movie has a stereotypical set of twins in it?
Yeah,
Kind of.
We're kind of portrayed as being weird.
Yes.
It's always like a freak show element to
Yeah.
it, and
Yeah.
like something to like gawk at and make fun of.
Yeah.
Usually,
There are weird twins. Like we went to high school with a pair of twins who were like kind of kept to themselves and never were very social. But we've often been very independent with each other.
Yeah.
And we went to different schools. We had oftentimes different friends growing up. So, not when we were younger, but as we got older. But we're pals now. We work together.
Right.
And we see each other every day.
You don't wear the same outfit
Yeah,
every
we're
day.
not like the weird twins that you might have a
the
misconception.
most realistic
about.
version of the movie is probably from the movie Twins.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's Danny DeVito. I'm Arnold.
No, I was just saying, who's who?
That's his insecurity speaking.
No, Double Dragon did it right.
Double Dragon.
Those are sick. They're
Are they
twins.
twins?
Are they
They're
twins?
not
Or just
twins.
brothers? They're just brothers.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Two brothers.
What are other twins movies?
Double Dragon didn't do much right. Can we be
It's
clear?
classic. I love when I was 11.
The Shining.
The Shining. Okay,
Shining.
twins. The
Shining.
Shining.
Yeah.
Stuck on You. That's a
Stuck
great.
on you.
Stuck on you. I actually kind of like that movie.
Fraternal, but still good. But there aren't really great twin movies if you think about it.
There isn't.
But it's always that's more what it is. It's always just a random set of twins for no reason. Like,
Yeah.
why are these two twins at the pirate restaurant, and why do they have to be
Yeah.
there? Why couldn't it just be a random guy? Speaking of that, my prop, I want the pirate hat. God,
Oh, nice.
I want that
prop?
pirate hat, and I want to hang it on my wall.
Gonna
I want
drop
Jefferson's car.
Ooh,
That's
okay,
what I
but before or after?
Before.
it. Oh, all right.
It's a
car.
1979 Camaro Z28.
It's a
I
great
said
car.
the same thing.
Yeah.
Oh, you can't have it though. That's our
Oh,
rule.
God damn
I
it.
got it, baby.
God damn it. All right. I will take. Here, you guys go first. I'll think
What
of
do you got?
something.
Okay, I'm gonna go. do I go Vans? Yeah, I'm gonna go. I'm hitting those
A
Vans.
pair of his Vans.
Yeah, well, those Vans,
The checkered
specifically.
ones?
Yeah,
The new ones?
the ones that
Yeah.
he has. Yeah.
Oh man, this is really hard.
You could take the van.
I already know. I got it.
Yeah, is that what you're doing?
No, I got another one.
Go for it.
Linda's bikini top.
Oh wow.
I definitely.
Just on the wall.
Oh man,
Oh no.
I'm not. He does not represent my my
Just
ethics.
kidding.
you're
Just
taking a
kidding.
treasure.
It's a treasure. It's
Like
iconic.
it's a prize.
It's an iconic moment. From
It
a-
is-
from a
it's-
great
Yeah,
movie.
No, you're
these are
right.
film props. This is what
Yeah.
we're trying to find.
Yeah, film props.
That's
yeah.
very valuable. I'm not gonna lie.
strictly business.
I think I want Spicoli's bagel.
Oh,
After it was in his crotch.
Yeah, I want it after because, and I'm just gonna preserve it in I'll get like one of those baseball things you keep a baseball in, but it'll be.
this was down Sean Penn's pants.
Yeah. Oh, this is the actual donut that was next to his dong. And fun fact, he actually put it. No, never mind. I'm just stop right there.
Are you sticking with bikini?
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
I already said it.
Okay.
The cancel's done. You're canceled.
You're canceled.
Yeah.
Wait till Twitter hears this.
I got that out of the way for us.
So as somebody who had never seen this movie, this is a very normal movie to me. I'm like, oh yeah, this is coming of age. This is great. When the abortion scene does happen, though, that made me just go, whoa.
Yeah.
Like I didn't feel like I expected this to happen in this movie. This seems very ahead of its time, especially what we've just gone through in society. Like, doesn't this seem like they almost predicted this, or just it was just very ahead of its time?
Well, I think a lot of teen movies avoid that because it's so real and it's a real conflict that so many people have dealt with, getting pregnant at a young age and what do you do, and it's a difficult situation for any young person. So I think that's one of the strongest parts of the movie is putting that into the story.
I agree. I don't know. Yeah, and I don't know if it's good for its time, I guess. Because now it's even worse.
Yeah.
Like, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And I like how they were just kind of so casual about it. I mean, it wasn't like they made it like a huge deal. You know, it was just like, well, this happened. Can you help me pay for it? And he's just like, yeah, I'll do whatever I can. Obviously, he's a shithead about it, but the way they handled it as for the story's sake was very just like, yeah, she's just gonna go get because it's her decision.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, that's nice. I wish we could just kind of have that anymore.
Yeah.
And I think a contemporary movie would that would be the entire plot of the movie. That would be
Yeah.
the main
Yes.
plot. But I think it was very subtle and infused it so well and made it so visceral and realistic and relatable. So I think they did a great job with it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
good point. Yeah.
I think
This
the only other movie that kind of does it very well in more of a heartbreaking way, The Last American Virgin. I don't know if anybody's seen.
Never seen it.
It's kind of the same thing where she gets pregnant from some other guy, and the guy that really likes her pays for it. It's just kind of, but it's also handles it in this kind of almost nonchalant kind of way.
Oh.
What's the one that Jenny Slate's in?
Obvious Child.
Obvious Child. That's a
Yeah.
great one.
Yeah, I
That's a
like
really
that
good
one.
one
That's a good
for a
one,
modern one. And then another great pregnancy movie is Juno. That's a great pregnancy,
Right.
teen pregnancy movie. But I like how it's just because there's so many parts of teenage growth in life that not making it the main focus of the movie is really effective.
Yeah.
Well, and just to, I'm not going to side on Damon's side here at all because that's definitely not. I agree with you guys, but there is a school of thought that he's actually really not that bad of a guy. The first half of the movie, he is legitimately friends with Rat. He's giving him pointers. He's trying to help him out with the girl. He does turn down Stacy a few times. He does kind of have the, I'm not trying to make any moves here. I'm hanging out with you. Then there's that real subtle scene. He is trying to raise the money. Like she says, I need $75 from you. And he's like, making a bunch of frantic calls going, I need some money right now. I need a favor from you. So definitely the worst move he could have possibly made was ditching her. But it seemed like he just didn't have he lived in a weird little apartment too. So he wasn't this cool, tough guy with a bunch of money like you thought he was. Like probably maybe didn't have a dad figure around or something. I don't know.
I think he may be like Phoebe Cates' character where he probably had never had sex either.
Probably.
Yeah.
And I think
Everything's
that
on
that's-
facade.
A lot of smoke.
Yeah.
You
I think
know?
that might be his first time.
And when real life happened, he ran away.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And this is also the great redeeming moment then again for Judge
Brad,
Reinhold.
yeah.
Brad, sorry. I keep calling him by his
Well, Judge Reinhold, what's his
Reinhold,
first name? Oh, it's Judge.
Oh, it's Judge, which I used to think he was an
I
actual
did
judge
too.
when I saw him in the Santa Claus the first time. Anyways,
Talented guy.
talented
Multifaceted.
guy, great sweaters. No, he has this great moment that he sees her run across the street, and he turns around to find out, and he doesn't pursue it. He says, "Okay, this can just be your secret."
Yeah, he
you
doesn't judge her
Are
at
you
all.
gonna? He's like, "You're not gonna tell me who it is, are you?" And he doesn't press it. He doesn't like force his. I'm gonna be the big brother and go beat this guy up.
Yeah.
No, you tell me right now. And it's not that. And it's like, come on, like let's go home and get in the car and stuff. And this will just be your secret.
Yeah, it wasn't like Hollywood cliche.
Yeah, exactly.
It was very cool.
Yeah, very realistic.
That jersey shirt he's wearing is sick.
The Cleveland.
too.
Yeah.
Oh,
Can
right.
I
So
change
good.
to this?
Yeah.
Can I change my
Nope,
prop?
nope,
Dang
nope.
it. All right.
Yeah, it's like a
changing-
zip up or
You can't
something.
change it,
Oh, yeah,
man.
you're
You
right.
already
Okay.
picked.
Locked in.
You're locked into
Locked
that
in.
bikini, and I want that Orioles shirt.
I got a fucking great car. I don't know about you guys.
All right, so final scene. Another month or two later, Stacy comes around on liking Mark after a biology class field trip. School is coming to an end. Mr. Hand takes some revenge on Spicoli by visiting him at his home on the night of the graduation dance. Brad is working at his new job and stops an armed robber, making Brad a local hero, at least in Spicoli's eyes.
I don't know if it's like the 80s for the time, but when they go to that field trip to the morgue, it's
Yeah.
like why learn it in a book when you can just see a fresh corpse, I guess?
Crazy.
Just the 80s.
I think it was the. I'm pretty sure that really happened.
Wild West. Yeah, you can see stuff like that. Was it a cadaver body?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you recognize the teacher at all? With just the most
The crazy hair guy?
unbelievable face you've ever seen in your
Yes.
life?
What else is he in?
The only thing I knew him from, because his face is so distinct and it's so scary, he was in Ghost.
Yes.
He was like the scary ghost that teaches Patrick Swayze how to like learn how to
Manipulate.
manipulate stuff. That's
Yeah.
all that I ever knew him
Same.
in.
He was
That's
also
a weird face.
He was also in one of the Pierce Brosnan James Bond movies as a hitman too,
Really?
as like a doctor, and yeah. And it was like, but it was borderline throwaway. Like he ends up getting off just by James Bond because it's James Bond. So yeah, James Bond won.
As
Spoilers.
he does. As he does.
I mean, any 80s movie that doesn't end with a dance, I don't know if it's a true 80s movie.
There you go,
Like,
man.
Karate Kid, man.
Not a phone in
Karate
sight. Am I right, guys? Not a phone,
phone
in
in
sight.
sight. Everyone's having a
You've
good
seen
time.
tens of thousands of movies.
Got to, yeah. With pools.
Did you catch that in the beginning? Mr. Hand threatens this to all of his students. He says, you're going to want to pay attention to my class, or else you don't want me showing up at your house and
yeah.
doing a lesson. And he shows up in school.
You don't want to learn world history on your time, do
Yeah.
you?
I love
right,
Spicoli's room with all
so
the
great.
nude models on the
So
wall.
cool.
Yeah.
When he leaves, he goes, Mr. Hand does.
I love that. No, I like their like kind of final moments together. It's just they, like I said, they have like the arc of the movie to me, and I like their relationship the best. And the fact that he's like, oh, we kind of learn from each other a little bit,
Yeah.
like, and maybe not, but yeah, it's really cool.
That mutual respect is
Yeah.
really, really endearing, you know? And again, you could easily paint this as Spicoli saying, no way, bro, I'm out. And he, throws up deuces, and then he's like, yeah, take that, Mr. Hand,
Well, then
stuck
you-
it to you. But he doesn't. He actually sits there and goes over stuff with them.
Yeah.
Then you could actually see Mr. Hand be like, well, fuck Spicoli. I'm not doing any special treatment
Yeah.
for him, and he does.
I love him trying to explain like the Revolutionary War. It's funny.
Jefferson's like, no, man, you got to go in there. And it makes sense.
Yeah, it's great.
Mr. Hand sees what we all are now learning. It's that Spicoli is the guy that just doesn't change. He actually cares. He's actually been paying attention in
Yeah,
class.
when he has pizza, he's like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Eating some food, learning about history."
and he's looking at Mr. Hand, just taking in everything he's
Yeah.
saying because he's so happy that a pizza's going to show up. He's just doing it his own way, but he actually cares. He's not trying to disrupt class.
Yeah.
And Mr. Hand learns this and it's like, all right, fine.
Yeah.
Like,
You dick!
Tore up my card.
Yeah, it's not like Spicoli's vindictive and he's like trying to get at Mr. Hand. It's just who he is.
Yeah, exactly.
everyone in this movie changes their personality at some point in this movie. Like they go from cool guy to not cool guy, or I want to have sex to man, life's hard. Spicoli's the same throughout this
static,
whole
yeah.
movie. And we all should want to be him. We should all just not give a shit.
Be ourselves.
Do what you want. Be yourself, man.
Yeah.
Some tasty waves and a cool buzz. man.
Cool
That's all I
buzz,
need.
man.
You should get a
I
job
wish.
with Spicoli.
Why?
What for, man?
What for, man?
What for, man?
You're young. You got your health. What in the world would you want with a job? What do you want with a job?
Sean Penn's his eyes in this movie are great because
I
he
know,
looks
man.
so high in every shot. That's like the performance. His eyes are just like it's like he can't even see anything. It's amazing.
You said it earlier. The saddest face I've ever seen on screen is him looking at that pizza.
It is so sad.
like,
He's got tears in his eyes. Yeah.
He's betrayed.
And also when he rips up his car, he's got tears in his eyes.
Yeah.
Like, he's a great actor. He emotes. Yeah.
Hey, bud.
So this convenience store scene, did you guys notice there's just like a plate of cookies?
Yeah.
A tray of cookies on the counter.
What's going on?
Maybe that's the thing convenience
80s,
stores
man.
used to do.
80s, bro. Cadaver
Yeah, I
bodies
trust
and free
this
cookies.
gas station convenience store cookies. Yeah.
They have to be wrapped up with a label on them.
Complimentary cookie with a pack of cigarettes? I
Yeah.
don't know.
I work for a plumbing supply company, and every Friday there's just like a box of donuts. I'm like, I'm not touching a single one of those. Plumbers come and just grab their like
Oh, yeah.
shitty hands, pretty
Yeah.
much.
Shitty hands.
That's what I would think about that plate of cookies. No way.
Well, you got anything else you want to talk about before we give it our modern day ratings?
I think I'm good.
I think it's like 80s classic.
Yeah.
If you
Yeah.
haven't seen it, check it out. You
all
have to.
time.
Yeah.
So here's what we're going to do. We have dissected this whole movie with a modern eye. We've stripped away all nostalgia. We got to give it a modern day rating on a 1 to 10 scale. AJ, what you got, man?
I love how this movie does kind of tie up with the fact that they do little blurbs about each kind of person.
I love
but
that.
none of them actually mean much of anything. And so it is, again, there's not much that happens in this movie in the grand scheme of thing. But again, like a great hangout movie is, everything happens for these people that we're watching. And so rewatching it and like getting through the movie, and it's such a unique thing to put that much drama at a 2/3 point of a movie with her going through that abortion, and then moving on. And I think I don't think they can get away with that kind of stuff, like doing it this way anymore. So I never got bored. I really enjoyed it. I laughed, and it was very emotional for me at certain points. And I really enjoyed it, man. I'm gonna give this an 8.1.
8.1. Sean, what about you, man?
Yeah, I agree with pretty much every single thing you said. I think Sean Penn is on another level in this and has just kind of risen in everything that he's been in. I think it's excellently directed. Amy Heckerling directs a hell of a movie, and off of a Cameron Crowe script that's fucking solid as hell. Everything's well acted. It's well put together. You're right. I'm never bored, and it's just a classic. I'm gonna say I'm a 7.8.
7.8 for Sean. For me, I've told you this before. Inject teen high school movies into my veins. Like, I don't know. I liked high school, and it makes me feel cool to like go. It doesn't make me feel cool. I like the feeling of going back and visiting different eras of high school. Dazed and Confused is one of my favorite movies ever, and this does a good job of taking that. There's not the stereotypes necessarily that Breakfast Club gives you. It's like people are just kind of themselves, and they're still figuring themselves out. I thought it was awesome. It was cool to watch it with a fresh eye. I'm very surprised that I had not seen it before because I do love it. So it's not as good as Dazed Confused, or Breakfast Club in my opinion, but it's better than like American Pie and all that stuff. So as far as the movies we've done, I'm a 7.55. James, what do you got, man?
I just hope that Sean Penn got good back surgery for carrying the hell out of this movie. Because without it, it's the major crutch of this movie. It's great.
you're
I
right.
love this movie, but the more times I watch it, especially at an older age, I'm like, without Spicoli, this movie is just like a C at best. But I think because of Spicoli and the characters, the rest of them, they're really relatable. And it's iconic moments in this movie that like live on in film history forever. And I just feel so youthful when I watch it. I feel like I'm in high school again. So I'm giving it a 7.5.
Yes.
Anthony, what you got, man?
I'm going to give it a 7.7. I think it's incredibly rewatchable, very relatable as a young person. I don't think it's completely aged 100%, as I think I liked it more when I was younger, but I still think it's a great movie to watch, and I'm happy to watch it anytime it's on. So 7.7 for me.
Bud Larson, our executive producer, who had also never seen this, said, "How have I never seen this movie?" Movie starts out at a local mall. It brought back a lot of childhood memories with the mall scene, from hanging out in the food court to playing games in the arcade. I recognize Rat from the Police Academy movies. I don't know if you guys recognize that. I didn't get the reference to sniffing the paper in history class. I'm not that old. As the movie went on, it reminded me of the last movie I reviewed, American Pie. I guess no matter what decade they're in, high school teens are thinking of nothing else but sex. So let me get this straight. The point is a dugout at a local baseball field. Also, what is up with all the writing on the walls and mirrors in the bathrooms? Was that popular in the 80s? That said, my favorite is the bathroom mirror that Brad is cleaning. It read, "Big Hairy Pussy." Who calls anyone that? Great thinking Thinking by Spigoli to spray paint the wrecked Camaro to get Jefferson pumped up for the football game. As the movie goes on, Stacy sleeps around again and this time gets pregnant and gets an abortion. That topic to me seems ahead of its time. I thought this was a good high school movie that covers all the bases: drugs, sex, high school jobs, hanging out with friends. I enjoy the endings of movie that include what the future is for the character. Most punchable face is Damone. He's out for himself, and when things go bad, he hides like a little bitch. My prop would be Spicoli's VW van. My modern day rating would be a 6.25.
All right.
So that is a 7.48 for us in all the movies that we have done so far. That takes us to just below Tommy Boy and the Mighty Ducks, just above Santa Claus, Hocus Pocus, and Top Gun.
Okay.
What's the number one?
Our number one highest rating is Dazed and Confused, 9.5, followed by Breakfast Club, 9.2.
Yeah, I think when you compare us to Dazed and Confused is just like so special. It really feels like it's like you're watching real kids just partying on one day. It's
You feel
really
like you're hanging
unbelievable.
out with them every time you
Yeah,
watch
it feels like a real like community and culture.
The talent in both movies is crazy. We have 3 Oscar winners in this, plus Jennifer Jason Leigh was nominated for an Oscar for
Right.
Hateful Eight, and plus
Oh, yeah.
Dazed Confused has a ton of Oscars.
Oh, yeah.
people, too.
Yeah.
Ben's in that.
I will say in Dazed Confused, the kid, when he always pinches
Yes.
his nose.
Oh, man.
Wiley
my God.
Wiggins.
He just like shakes his head.
Yeah,
and
that drinking game,
pinches
man.
his
Drinking
nose.
game right there, man.
Oh my God, drives me nuts.
That's acting, bro.
He's concerned and he's
Oh
sad.
man.
Be a lot cooler if you did.
Well, we hope you enjoyed the episode, everybody. Thanks for being here. Tune in next Wednesday for our 100th episode.
Whoa.
An episode that will be recorded in front of a sold-out live studio audience. We're doing Roadhouse.
Amazing.
In front of an audience. And if you're new to the podcast, go back this time last year. We did Terminator 2 Judgment Day.
Oh, you got it.
That ended up
yeah.
being number
Hell
3
yeah.
on our list,
Such a good movie.
9.16.
Best sequel ever.
Yeah,
Yeah,
It's up,
maybe.
yeah,
there.
one of
probably right.
Yeah, it's up there.
Paddington 2.
Ooh.
Well, hey, before we get out of here, remind everybody about the podcast and how they can find you.
Raiders of the Lost Podcast. Find us on all audio streaming platforms, on YouTube as well, TikTok, Instagram. Raiders Lost Podcast, you'll find us. Raiders Lost Pod on Twitter and Letterboxd.
Nice.
AJ?
There we go.
How do we get out?
How do we get out? We get out. You guys look for Confused Breakfast anywhere. You know where to find us. Look for Raiders first and foremost before turning this off, and then come find us at Confused Breakfast.
Thanks, guys.
Anywhere, and confusedbreakfast.com for all the relevant links.
Go to confusedbreakfast.com. Our spiffy new website is up. And you can get some merch there too. You get some Confused Breakfast shirts, some of our sayings like damn dang it, some coffee mugs. Just go there and get some stuff from
Yep.
us.
You can also check patreon.com/confusedbreakfast. We got all the tiers. You can vote on upcoming movies. You can join the private Discord. Listen to our bonus audio every week. It's a beautiful thing. These guys got a Patreon as well.
Yes.
Absolutely.
.com/Raiders.
Of the Lost Podcast.
Lost
full
Podcast.
name.
Oh, yeah.
Raiders
Last
of the
question. Have you done Raiders of the Lost Ark?
Yeah, we did an Indiana Jones episode.
Okay,
years-
cool.
we did
a
the
few years
trilogy.
ago.
Yeah.
That's one of the
Nice.
reasons why we had to kind of rebrand. People thought we were only an Indiana Jones podcast.
We had the font and everything, and then we modernized the font and changed the logo, and
Yeah.
we had to,
I can see that.
revamp it.
On one hand,
Yeah.
like, I think you do have one of the best names out there for
Yeah,
a movie
yeah,
podcast. On the other, it's like, oh, so they just do Indiana Jones.
For 100 episodes.
500 episodes of Indiana
That's a
Jones.
lot.
How do they do that? Thank you guys so
Really
much.
like it.
Thank you guys so much for having us here and coming on the show. It's been a lot of
It's
fun.
so cool.
Thank
It's
you
fun
guys
having
so
you guys in
much.
studio.
Thank
Yeah,
you,
we'll get
fellas.
you back to the airport so you guys can fly back to California.
We're gonna pack up the set.
All right, we're out here. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Later.
Bye.